I had to come up with some Vegas music, and that was as good as I had. And it went on for a little bit there, but if you know, you know. Hello, David.
Hello,
it's footy
mate.
season.
It is. Round one.
Round one, and they're off to Vegas for the
promise.
doubleheader. Kicking off at 1:30 p.m. this Sunday afternoon. You excited?
Absolutely, I am. We've got an invitation from the Supercoach
yeah, you're
Hub
doing
to
that.
go down to the VIP room at the Star. So
Jokes.
should be interesting. Apparently a panel and some food and drink, and we'll get to watch both of these games in Aussie Vegas style at the Star.
I've got to give you some
Few
mics
more.
and shit, hey? All right, I think of that. I
Always
haven't
use
thought of that.
phones. We'll work it out.
Yeah, no, I'll give you the
There shall
portable
be
mics.
content.
There'll be some content from it. We'll get Barney sorted out with the wireless GoPros, and I'll do that later. Anyway, so that's all ahead. That's exciting.
Absolutely, it is.
So looking for good luck to you. I've got a cricket grand final to play, so
Good luck to you.
yeah, thank you. So I assume we'll all be drunk at some point later in the evening.
More than likely.
And I'm just trying to work out what we're going to talk about next. All right, yeah, we've got to talk about 2 games of footy. But we're also going to do a Supercoach show, having seen all the pre-season games, talk about what's going on there. We have to plug PCTC tipping comps. You've just done that. If you're listening to this, watching this, you can join our official tipping partner, PCTC Sports Tipping. Go search that on Facebook, Threads, or Instagram. And you can sign up there, free and $50 comps. And you can take us on. Obviously, lots of people like to tell us how wrong we are. So put your money where your mouth is and beat us. About a $3+ grand pool
Prize pool.
coming up. Both my brothers just signed up, actually. Jack Flobbs and
Yeah, right.
Jack. And Big Jimmy signed up. If you are signed up to the ESPN app, though, do not click on anything that wants to take your money from that. Just speak to Gaz. Different story. So kick off. No, we'll keep this nice and sharp. We're going to, each and every week, we'll do a full preview. So for the long-time listeners, we're going to save our punting disaster class for its own thing as well. That'll be on social media, TikTok, and the Show Us Your Tips YouTube page, in fact. So that's to come, especially because I haven't come up with it yet. But everything else we will talk about here and what has us frothing, all those good things. But we're going to start, should we get straight into it?
In Vegas.
In Vegas at Allegiant Stadium.
Allegiant Stadium.
Fuck's sake. In Las Vegas, 1:30 kickoff local time for our time.
So it makes about 6:30.
It's about 6:30
local
over
time.
there.
Yep.
It the season starts with the Seagulls and the Bunnies. Now, the ground is only, it's 100 yards, so 94 metres long.
Yep.
It is 63 metres wide, which is about 5 yards.
So you're looking about 3
Thinner.
metres shorter at either end
Yeah.
and 3 metres shorter width-ways on both sides of the
Yes.
field.
Well, how do you think that's going to come into play?
Oh, well, it basically makes it feel like there's probably one extra defender out there, realistically, if you're covering 6 metres. That's generally the span sort of between your centre and your winger, and you're looking to try and get on the outside of them. So that's only going to compress the defence, especially once the ball gets outside of your halves towards the centres and the wingers. So I think you'll be looking at players a lot more change of directions and back towards the middle of the field, and probably benefits a bigger forward pack, realistically.
I also just have the feeling that, and the officials are Ashley Klein and Adam G, I believe.
Also heard through the traps that apparently they're playing with a ball that's decorated with the stars and stripes for the American flag.
Right, okay.
And under lights, it's a little bit more difficult to get a hold of coming down out of the sky.
Okay.
So
there you go.
the guys
All these angles.
They have been training with it for a while, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's another angle too. It's 2,000 meters above fucking. It's at altitude as well. So whether blokes are able to continue with whether they tire quicker or the ball hangs in the air a bit longer, there's going to be a few different things thrown up out of this match.
They also had to source local footy posts, whatever that means. They're going to be
Yeah,
yellow
okay.
as well. So
Yellow posts,
It's all
right.
happening. Back to my referee. So fucking who knows? But we've got the referees. Given their push on the no pads physical contest, I can see this being refereed like Origin. I can see this being very
Has to
much,
be, realistically.
very much. Put your whistle away. Let everyone belt each other. Smaller field.
No heads taken off and no punches.
But apart from that, it's going to be game on, and so I think the physicality is going to be very, 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 very an integral part of both games.
Yeah.
We kick off with the Seagulls and the Bunnies. For the Seagulls, they line up like this: Travojevic, Saab, Cooler, Garrick, Paulo on the wing. Brooks, Cherry Evans in the halves. Paseka, Croker, Aloe, Olakauatu. Ben Travojevic does get that edge spot. Jake Travojevic, Carl Lawton, Waddell, Bullymore, Nathan Brown makes up the bench. For the Bunnies, Latrell, Alex Johnston, Isaiah Tass, Rishi Kenner are the centres. Jacob Gagai gets his debut on the wing. Cody Walker, Lachlan Ilias. Forward pack is Totola, Cook, Kepi, Kolamatangi, Arrow and Murray. Havili on the bench with Host, Mawali and Burgess. I would dare say, apart from injuries, it's exactly the teams we suggested were going to be happening when we did our full season preview and got shouted at. But anyway, here they are. How are you looking at this game?
Well, Kenner and Gagai probably weren't really in our in the midst of our discussions.
I said barring injuries, yes.
Yes.
And that's about 7 in. We've lost
Fantastic
20 on the way.
Fantastic game here. It looks to me, obviously, there's probably a slight pace advantage when you get out wide to the Manly side. And the starting 17, there may be a bit of physicality in the shape of Aloe and Paseka being able to maybe be in front for that first 20-minute battle in the middle of the field up against Totola and Kepi. Should be a top-class game. There's strike and some really good ball playing. Walker apparently has been deemed fit as of today to play this game, which is a big in for the South Sydney team. I would have been real keen on Manly otherwise, but still probably leaning their way a little bit. I just think that the bench rotation's probably got a little bit... is the only way I really lean to South is probably their bench rotations are a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more size there to take control once they get into those middle minutes. But if Manly can move the middle around enough to compress the defence, I think they've got the strike out wide with their playmakers to be able to break open enough in the centres to score, be in front by a try or two at the end of this match. So, unless Latrell absolutely brains it, but you've got Tommy on the other side of the field as well, which we haven't even mentioned, who's one of the best players back through the middle in support. So
it's only just thinking in how good a game this could be if everyone turns up. In terms of moving people around the field, you've got to give the kicking
to DCE.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And Luke Brooks has his big boot,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't imagine he's doing lots of it. But he does have as good a boot as anyone. Just
takes the pressure off DCE anyway.
So
second option,
very much in their favour, which is a tick. And I'm sort of going to agree with you that the starting packs. Look, at the end of the day,
there's a bit more skill in the South pack,
There's a representative back row in the South side. And I would suggest big game for Olakauatu having to match that physicality, and Ben Travojevic getting a starting spot to hopefully nail down this back row. He's more of a lanky back row than a physical back row compared to Kolamatangi and Arrow, but Jake and Murray are just going to do it. They match up so well all down to 1 to 13 because Jake and 100%. Murray will get through the same amount of work.
Like Arrow's just a mongrel dog on that edge, and they might have that edge at times during the game where they do break open just on the back rowers, being able to stand up a smaller guy or burrow over the top of someone to gain points. I just think at the end of the long game, I think Manly might just come in front.
All right, let's go with your final word then.
Yeah, so Manly 1 to 12, something around the 18 to 12 mark. I think there's probably a few less points just because of the dimensions of the field, and yet to know what kind of dew and stuff settles over there when they get going. But
is it covered? I think it's covered.
Oh, it's got a roof on it. It does. Yeah. So
it's natural turf, but it's covered.
Yeah. Okay. So that takes a bit of the dew out.
Or grass, as we call it.
Yes. But yeah, I just see Manly having a little bit more strike here and a bit more. They tend to set up a little bit better going back through the middle of the field, where I think you need to sort of play at the moment over there on this field. So
you need to do the other part. You do the margins and shit.
Yeah, Manly 1 to 12, somewhere between the 16 and 18.
Man of the match.
18 to 12. Man of the match. Let's just go Tommy. I think he'll have a big part to play supporting players back on the inside of the field. And I'll give man of the match to DCE. I think he'll probably be the one that kicks them around the field and provides a couple of those inside balls for Tommy to score those points.
I'm in agreement. I will be tipping Manly in the PCTC this weekend. I'm a little bit worried about. I think deeper in this game, perhaps South can wrestle back the physicality edge.
Absolutely.
But I think they can take that edge. They can take their outside backs apart. I think they're going to be kicked to death and made to work a great deal out of the back end of their field, albeit a bit shorter. Footwork in and around is going to be the difference. So I'm going to say, why rechange this? Unfortunately, at some point, Richie Kenner and Jacob Gager are going to have to stop Tommy Trbojevic from scoring, and he might just burst straight through and score the first try.
Ola Kawatu and
yeah, so I'm
the
going to
rest
go
of
with him.
them.
And I'm going to go. I want to go DCE. Yeah, I'm going to do.
What's that?
I'm sorry, everyone. I tip Luke Brooks man of the match.
I'll do it.
Some broken
Yeah,
field,
lovely.
getting in there, running, maybe a couple of nice kicks, and I think 2 try assists. 1-12 Manly.
Nice.
We get to the main event, which is the 3:30 kickoff here, Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and it's Roosters and the Broncos. For the Roosters, Tedesco Tupou, Billy Smith, Joey Manu, Joseph Akuso Sawali, Kiri Walker. Lenu does start with Nobu Hargraves. The cheese is at lock. Lindsay Collins, Sia Wong and Tupanoa is the starting back row, which is very interesting for our next chat. Radley and in the bench is Sandon Smith, White, Butcher, May. So the shocks are no Connor Watson, no Angus Crichton, no Egan Butcher, who has to be tremendously unlucky. Broncos, Reece Walsh, Jesse Arthurs, Staggs, Cobbo, Dean Mariner, Ezra Mahama, Reynolds. Jensen does start. Walters, Haas, Piacora, Ricky Carrigan. Tyson Smoothie gets a starting 14 spot ahead of Tristan Saylor and co. Baker, Hetherington, Wilson. Tremendous clash. Last year's grand finalists against the Chooks. What is your first talking point looking at this? Apart from, again, what a fullback clash. The incumbent Australian captain against the bloke who will be the next Australian fullback, in my humble opinion.
The Roosters just look fantastic on paper. Every time you look at their team list, you expect them to win the game of football. They've got A-grade players from top to bottom. There's a clear edge towards the Roosters here if you're looking at the wingers. Suali and Tupou over Arthurs and Mariner. At their best, they can probably match it with these two, but if the other two put their best on, they're going to probably blow them away. The only problem is, I think, the outside edges, due to the constrictions of the field, might not be as advantageous as they would.
This is
I know
more
it's
likely
only
to be
a couple of metres.
I can see this game, if this makes sense, this is more likely to be the more physical of the two.
Yep.
Whereas they'll both, I think both coaches will have more of a dominate the middle and work from there, whereas I feel like the first game will be...
Yep.
It'll be the intent, but it won't play out that way.
But you know the get-out option's always that kick to the wing. And when you've got Suali and Tupou jumping over these two guys, on that, especially on the back foot...
Even I can't really say that Cobbo's fantastic in the air.
No. He does get
Staggs
a hand in
good.
and sort of
They can
spoil
do
a
it,
little bit, but centres match up really well. The fullbacks is a tremendous line-up, but Tedesco plays more to an edge, whereas I think
Walsh through
Walsh
the
is a lot more
Walsh is
effective back through the middle
grab
of the field.
the tag team, the hot tag off Carrigan and ours.
Yeah, and cutting back in off a centre, maybe who's popping an inside ball and then directing the play back to the middle of the field, which, as I said with the first game, I have to continue with that sort of train of thought into this one. Forward battle's massive. Jensen and Lenu yet to be proven sort of as starting forwards, but they could make a name for themselves here. Smith and Walters. Walters was probably a better player than Smith last year, but going on careers, you could take that to another discussion. Payne Haas, Lindsay Collins both had terrific seasons last year. I think there's probably a little bit of there's a more X factor into this Roosters pack than there is out of the Broncos, but they just work a lot harder for a lot longer than what you're going to get out of this Roosters pack. I think you're going to see a few early interchanges in the likes of Tupanua and Sia Wong, and then trying to get Nat Butcher and the likes into this game.
Can you see? I know Spencer's starting.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see where he almost plays the least minutes of those forwards.
Quite possibly.
Plays 15, and they keep him for 15 after
Tyrell
half
May
time,
comes on and plays
and then White and
good half
May,
an hour.
get through the work.
And then you might see...
And even Nat in the middle.
Wong moving into the middle or Nat moving into the middle to take up minutes there. But, there's probably an extra offload or a bit of extra footwork in this Roosters forward pack, but this Broncos pack's just coming all night.
Yes.
And the likes of Carrigan, Haas, Piakura's starting to show a few signs, and Ricky's been top class. Like, not A grade, but he's been right up there for a couple of seasons now as an edge back rower. So,
and Willison, I'm sure Willison will end up starting this pack by the end of the year.
You would think so, yeah. I'm surprised they didn't just give him a crack at it to begin with, to be honest. Jensen's been pretty well exposed now, and we know what you're going to get out of him. But, hey, there's a bit of X factor in Willison as well, which probably doesn't hurt coming off the bench. I think this is going to be extremely close. This might even come down to golden point, realistically, in the back end of this game.
If this comes to a golden point, Peter V'landys might blow his load in the fucking box.
Just because I think the restrictions, if the field was that little bit wider, I'd probably be leaning slightly towards the Roosters, but just directing the traffic back through the middle of the field with Reece Walsh sniffing around looking for offloads, I think the Broncos might just get it done. 1-12 again. Man of the match, I'll go with the fullback again. I'll go with the fullback this time. I think if Brisbane are going to win it, you're going to see two or three tries out of...
It has Reece Walsh written all over it. Just everywhere I look at this game has Reece Walsh looking over it.
And then,
because it's going to be broken field through the middle, someone half falling off a tackle, next minute, he's off and gone.
But I think you might see a first try scorer out of the hookers or the front rowers from either side. So
damn it.
I'll go with Payne Haas to crash over for the first try for the Broncos. But it was Brandon Smith's not a bad shot.
Tortured. Well, that's where I'm going. This match has tortured me a bit because Chook's both teams be up for it.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's such a media snowball that this is Brisbane's year.
Yeah.
And I think it's lost a little bit on the widespread media that last year was Brisbane's year.
Yeah.
But in a pack, and I'm not saying they won't be there at the end. I'm absolutely saying they will be, but it is the nucleus of a brand new pack.
There's a few blokes there that can be exposed.
Two blokes you can absolutely trust, and they've all worked together, but there's a few blokes that need to get in their work just yet.
New wingers.
And I'm going to say, that said, we know Robbo loves Tupanua. He obviously loves Sia Wong as well and gets through great work, but both of them have some slight defensive deficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was Kevy, I'd be looking to hammer Satili Tupanua's side the whole night and make him try and go left and right, because coming off an ACL,
Carrigan has
he does get exposed. I think that's the way you're going to be looking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tip the Chooks. Just to say I'm just going to think that, and the irony of all this is Chooks are like the slowest starting team in the comp. They generally are, and so I'm going against every grain in my body. And I tip Chooks 1-12, and I tip Brandon Smith first try. I think bowling ball cheese it'll be
dive
15 minutes in, and it'll be just he'll dive through someone's legs and get up and throw the ball down and do his little angry cheese head
wobble.
Angry cheese. And I'm going to say that it's set up for Victor Radley to man of the match. You'll
just throwing blokes around,
a little
blokes.
bit more free reign than he can inflict in this game. So let's go with that. So, but very, very excited to see all of that. Has anything got you frothing? I suppose it's really obvious. It's a dumb question.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas, the whole thing.
The way it's going to set up, I think it'll look brilliant on TV.
Yes.
You've got four of the strongest teams in the comp, and they're all lining up to put a show on. Like, they're not just there to play a game of footy; they're there to put a show on. So I can see this Sunday being some stupidly good football.
Yes, agree. And what else I'm going to say to this? This has been the Footy and Frothies preview show. We're going to do this next week. So next week we're going to review both games. I haven't thought this, I'm thinking out loud. Mm-hmm. Come here Tuesday, review both games, preview both games. I'll preview the other 6.
Yep.
And what we're thinking the rotation of is hopefully a review show Monday night, all things being equal, or Tuesday night.
Monday, Tuesday, yep.
Once I know my fucking sporting
Schedules,
rotation for kids sport.
Absolutely.
And a preview show up hopefully Wednesday, or obviously Wednesday at latest.
Wednesday night, Thursday morning, absolute latest. But it'll always be up before the
footy kicks off.
Anger.
But so we'll confine things to where they should be. If you've been part of this for 5 years, you know what we bring to the table. We enjoy it. We watch each and every game. We love talking about it.
Absolutely. And
cannot wait for this weekend. Check out Rugby League merch and buy some hats and buy some shirts and support us there. We're going to work on some new gear coming soon. But apart from all that...
And we're probably going to be branching out a little bit more with our tips and Supercoach, which is another thing
yes,
to look
so
at.
We're starting to finally do what we're supposed to do and cross paths with others. We've got some unique stuff coming with the tips. We've got some other stuff coming with Supercoach and that sort of thing. Stay tuned. Exciting time. Finally, we're pulling our finger out and doing a proper job at what we do. But, if I do say so myself, we go right.
Absolutely. We do the previews and reviews as good as any, I would imagine. Well, not imagine. I know. Because I listen to fucking just about everything out there.
Yeah, I do.
So.
Stay tuned and bring on the footy.